we're going to do Legion up until like the first break. And then after that, we'll do just like multiplayer games for the rest of the stream. It probably won't be a really long stream, but we'll do it for a while. Oh yeah, shit, I forgot I had this person. So, unlock this lady, check her out. Check this shit out. Human statue. Look at this shit. Hey, I'm Matt Nolan! How you doing again there, buddy? Oh yeah. They're paying us for this. They love this. They love it. Who's on? Was that my umbrella? Alright. And we'll get him. Nice. Good times. Good times. Also, right, what's going on over there? Right, we're going to change people. So I also got... I haven't got a new spy, but I got a new guy for silenced weapon. So this has become my new guy. He's got like the least... He's got like the worst stats out of everybody. Also, this guy, massive disappointment. So banjo player, you can see the picture. When I first met him, he had a giant like furry costume on, like a banjo playing furry, and I was like, that's hilarious. He's got to come into the team. And then I got him in the team, and he's just jabroni. Luckily, like I can still be him and wear his clothes, but he doesn't. He's pretty much the only person who you click on and you don't see that. You just see this instead. It's a massive disappointment, massive. But yeah, we got our new boy. Because my main mode on this now is just going around with a silenced weapon. It's fun and simple. At least 12 hours. No, that'd be extremely late. He's protected from the Rona, you can see. Oh, he's wearing fingerless gloves. Maybe I should have thought of that one for a bit more. Okay, so do I have more people? Oh yeah, I think I've got a couple more to recruit. I think I did reach my max limit, so I think I'm just I'm trying to recruit people that you get money for recruiting them, and then I'm just gonna throw them straight out. This beatboxer, I've got to replace a shitter beatboxer that I had. A lot of it's now just trying to weed out the ones that have horrible voices, but a lot of them I'm gonna have to. Like her, I can't get rid of her really. She's too good, but she has a fucking god awful voice. But we are going to do an actual mission. So reporting for duties. Let's get going. I haven't really done like much of the actual main story at all whatsoever. I'm hoping you like upgrade the space somewhere as you go. Because I've got like a full team, but you never actually see them down here. And again, it's like the most budget Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shit I've ever seen. Like, what's this? Like barely like 2 or 3 carriages. Turtles had a whole fucking train and the station, you know. You did stream pretty late in the morning when Cyberpunk came out. That's true. Yeah, that day I did stream for a good fucking time on that day. I mean, I have done 12-hour streams before. I've done over 12-hour streams. I don't think I'll ever do a 24-hour stream because it would just fuck me too hard afterwards. But like, I've done over 12-hour streams a good few times. Yeah. When Cyberpunk came out though, I was playing it to like, yeah, I think it was daybreak outside, and usually I've ended stream way before that.
Well done, team.
See, that's the thing with Cyberpunk. There was so much of it that was fun, but there was also just so much that was awful, and it's pretty much a dead game now, isn't it? Which is savage for how like hyped it was.
Train, build back our arsenal.
Oh, I don't want to be Arsenal.
People are itching to rise up and take their city back.
Not that itchy. Hay fever's coming back, so I've been a little itchy.
The DedSec are fighting along with them.
Agreed. Grow the team.
Also, yeah, I figured if I put a mask on them, you can't see how bad the facial animations are necessarily, you know? And glasses. If I try and hide the faces, you don't notice how bad they look.
They need to be on our shit list.
Fair, but remember that this zero-day hacker group is still out there. They took out DedSec once, and it's a good bet they'll try again. I believe they were responsible for the bombings.
Hide to Ubisoft's shame.
I plan to get to the bottom of this mystery.
I'd say that's a full docket. Enough talk.
I should get them all dressed up as well. Like, I changed this guy was just in a suit, but I kind of like changed him up a bit because I've made sure I've got loads of decent recruits. So like, I've got a recruit for like when I want to buy clothes cheaper. Now. Shopping spree. Charles spent 297 ETO. Oh shit. Yeah. So there's also somebody that randomly buys clothes in here, but that could be a good thing, you know, just because although it's going to waste my money, it'll get me more clothes that I can put people in. But yeah, so like I've brought a load of clothes, but I need to change people because they still look like basic bitches. Look at you, basic bitch. Look at you. Actually, he looks pretty cool. He's my his only plus is Hanukkah. He plays some Hanukkah, but
Go investigate. You might even get to try out that fancy new AR tech we stole. I mean, creatively shared.
Ha ha ha. Yeah, I mean, I kind of get why it happened, because, I mean, they've got so many characters that could theoretically be a character you play for the entire game. You know, any like, Tom, Dick, and Harry off the street, you could be any of them. So, like, I get that you can't put the same level of detail, especially like, animation-wise, into every single one of those, compared to, like, having one or two main characters. But that was their decision to do this. And, like, there's definitely other ways around it. But yeah, they just look awful for the most part, and just the voices are yeah. I mean, I don't even need to say we've been playing this for a while now. It's very obvious that it's not great. But London itself is fucking gorgeous on this game, and I can't get enough of it. Okay, let's go to Temple. Lots of people called Shirley around here. Yeah. At least 12. What's your deal? Ah, see? I'm going to put him on my recruitment thing just so I can then get money. I don't know how much I get for each of them. Excuse me? I need your land rock, please. There's no one in it. I don't know who I'm talking to. Let's turn potential DMCA music off. Unless it's really good. We'll listen to our shitty chat shows instead.
Hello and
Hello!
welcome to today's episode
There is like
of
some good tracks on here though. I did see some like
The Optic.
there's like some gorillas.
Got me on edge.
There's some
In the
Muse.
aftermath of the bombing, thinking about everyone who died.
This place is too
Oh, I thought this was the radio station.
No construction, but all the security walking around.
Excellent point.
Our thoughts.
Bagley, let's get this done. What am I looking
Our
for?
thoughts with
Any
you.
kind of device or component
Your
that could still
will.
be emitting the signal. It
You're
seems to be coming
still
from
with
within
us,
the
but it looks like you're will with us. Wait, what? Our thoughts with you. Our thoughts are with you. Should be. You will with us. You will. You are still with us. It doesn't look like an S or a T there though. That's stretching. Or you are. You are will with us. You are will walk us. Fucking hell, man. Like, this is a shrine to your dead loved ones. You know, fix up, look sharp, man. Learn how to write what you want to put on there. What's going on? Are you serious? Come on. Oh, what's this? Ah, yeah. I might as well. I might as well. Hey, moo! Meow! How you doing today? And Aini as well. Lovely to see you, dude. That's London education. That's it. That's it. I would only tell you guys the most accurate of informations. Also, I told him to have a different mask, but he doesn't seem to ever want to wear it. I'll just have to wear this Casey Jones knockoff shit. Again, Turtles did it better. I mean, we've got enough people with tactical granny voices, and I don't have no more room for anybody really. The only people I have room for are either like really good ones or ones that'll make me money, because I'll have to I'll have to fire a lot of people. I'm at like my limit. Or I reached my limit and I did fire them more people, but you know how it goes. Huh. I mean, I'm definitely not allowed to be here, but no one seems to mind, so Spiderbot away. Although, is it not here I'm meant to be? Oh, there we go, yes. Damaged Spiderbot leg. Oh, okay. Yeah, my little birdie.
What the fuck? This is it. The signal is coming from this Spiderbot fragment. No indication yet who it belongs to.
Oh shit, I didn't want to do
What's
that.
left of it? Why would it be here?
Difficult to say, but with an AR reconstruction, we may be able to see what happened to it and if it relates to the attack.
Okay, man, I'm probably going to have to do that here, right?
Access data relays in the vicinity, and I can compile enough data to build the AR reconstruction.
Okay. Ow, my head. Can you reconstruct my head? Bumping away. How far away? It doesn't actually show it on the minimap, okay. I'm being detected. How? I'm a drone. Don't worry about stuff. I'm just a drone, living a droney life. I'm gonna go to Droner King. Oh, I was gonna look at that. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm not meant to. Whee! Don't look at me! Don't kick the baby. Oh, there's one right there. You're a... Oh, did you say grass? Because you're the fucking grass, dude. God damn it. Can I just... have to physically touch that shit, don't I? Check your ears. I think he broke his ears. What a dummy. Right, where you go? Choose a direction or stay still. No. I mean, I did say he could move. That was my fault, I guess. Dumb piece of shit. Get him. Look at this, he's multitasking.
Perfect. 2 more data relays to go.
Yeah, I'm there. Just put gas in it. There we go. So I gotta go further down for this one, so I might as well see if I can get in any floor cracks with this right now. How is everyone doing today, by the way? It's already quite late, but hope you've had a beautiful day. Right, is there any pieces of shit? There's a spider. I hate pieces of shit. If I was a fly, oh, that'd be a different story.
One more data relay and I'll have it.
Okay. Data relaying is in my right in my wheelhouse, you know. I relay data all the time. I'm doing it right now. Oh shit, I shouldn't jump around like a bunny too much. I'm not a bunny.
That should do it. Now I'll just take the audio from this stream and the
guys
video
will
from
never let me
36
forget.
and got it. Go back to where you found that spider box and I'll show you the AR reconstruction from the night of the explosion.
Sure, I just want
Message
to...
received.
Let me get this first. Sweet. Do you reckon these things are going to rat me out? I hope not. I've been nice. Shit.
Data reconstruction in progress.
Turn around.
You brought the payload?
Oh,
Think we'd go
he will never know how close he was to never seeing his family
Don't touch
again.
the Kelly dog.
Now he does.
Bagley, can you see who was controlling the spider bot?
I've now fully decrypted the signal the spider bot is broadcasting. And while I cannot identify a specific user, it is a call code used by the Metropolitan Police Service.
Oh my god, that's the fuzz.
Police were here watching this.
Kelly? As in Clan Kelly? Why would mobsters want to bomb the city?
Why not?
This is a handoff or I'm a fucking pumpkin. Kelly's are just a supplier.
Well, who was that woman they met with? You don't think she was from Zero Day?
Well, don't just stand there. Keep looking.
Disappeared into
The
rock.
reconstruction continues behind that rubble.
Brilliant. Suppose I'll just quantum tunnel through all this.
Get him.
Quantum tunnel technology is at least 10 years away, but spider bots and drones are here today. You could try one of those if you don't feel like
I'm
waiting.
trying, but I think because I'm in a conversation, I'm not allowed. Maybe I just put it away and then I can do it. Oh, I've got to recall my spider bot. That was the issue. Right, yep, that makes sense. Motherfucker. Oh shit! No, didn't want to do that. Oh fucking hell!
Why don't you aim those human eyeballs of yours at the van's cargo?
Acknowledged. Whoa! DedSec's got their...
RDX nitrogen, and the exact same detonator
Hey,
system
some
like the
nitrous,
bombs
nice.
that were planted at Parliament.
Maybe they're just having a party.
There, hurry. Got order delivery. That's something.
Oh,
So you were hired to supply all the
that's
targets?
a hand.
Shut it. We're all on need to know.
Hey, and Scotty, how you doing today? Yeah, sorry, the Spider-Bot Croft, I think so, yeah.
I see.
I just need a
That's
little
certainly
butler I
one
can
way
put
to
in a
pull off
freezer.
massive coordinated attack while remaining anonymous. Zero Day needed manpower and resources, but they needed them at an arm's length. And it doesn't take the world's greatest AI detective to see that both Clan Kelly and Albion benefited in the aftermath.
Well, good for them. You know?
Unfortunately, this is the most we can get out of the AR reconstruction. But if we could find the mystery officer who was spying through the Spider-Bot, maybe they could tell us more.
Maybe. But how will we ever know? Okay. Let me take control of this. Okay. Oh. No. I'll go back round this way. I know this way's clear-ish. Let's see. Get. Nice. Real nice.
Tracing the Spider-Bot serial number, it was assigned to New Scotland Yard 3 years ago.
Oh,
And
shit.
more information about its user or its assignment will be available at the station.
Something doesn't add up here. Cops are on the trail of the actual...
You got Bags, but he probably isn't the best butler. That's
true.
true, yeah, you do got
The only way
Bagley.
to know for sure is
He's
to
got a
investigate
butler-esque
New Scotland
voice.
Yard.
He's got that Jarvis thing going for him, you know. Man, how many people die in London? Is this because of the car crashes I keep making? Let's find out. And turn right. That's why you have these barriers here now. They're very good. Keep going though. Believe in yourself. Let's get to the mission. Otherwise I'll just keep doing that all day. Let's go to embankment. Nice. Oh. Banjo player and a banjo player just both getting down on a whatever night. What are you about? Yeah, got him. It's just bloody goddamn granny voice again.
And castle is an actual castle. That's not a beach.
Tell you what I miss free will. That was fun. Remember that? I mean, was it an illusion all the time? Who cares? It
Free will? Since when did we have
I
that?
miss cash.
Oh shit.
Particularly coins. I really miss coins. The fun of doing a heads or tails best of 5 to see if you have to go.
Yeah, I
to
doubt we'll
zero
have
and
coins in
best
like
of 7,
circulation
best
for a
of
long,
9.
long time, you know.
Well, that was
Well, I guess Albion has seized control of the station.
You're right,
Plenty of
just
time
going
for
in,
these
don't mind me.
services, But don't worry, if you're not pleased with your privatized goon squad, just take your business across the street.
I was never a fan of the cops, but this
Murder,
is
murder,
so
murder.
much worse.
Everybody.
Don't worry.
Murder,
the only
murder,
difference
murder.
now is the
I won't be
uniform, assault
sorry.
weapons, and the fact they're motivated by profit over public service. Now, any record or information on the Spider-Bot will be further in.
I've got a spy, but she's got an incredibly annoying voice. So this is just a dude who has a silenced weapon. He's not actually a spy, but he does have the silenced P9, and that's why I'm rocking him right now. That's lining up red. Can I not shoot through that? That's a long shot. That was a terrible shot. Okay, luckily no one saw or heard it somehow. That's it, yeah, it's good enough. I've changed his clothes. He looks exactly like a spy now, as you can see. Because spies always wear shiny shit, of course. Fucking New Scotland Yard. I miss old Scotland Yard, you know. They had way better stuff. Wait, it's upstairs again? I keep saying, like... Where is it? It was like downstairs, and now it's like upstairs. Like, jeez, make up your minds. All your people are being murdered because of your indecisiveness. Ah, lordy, lordy. This eternal flame commemorates those who have lost their lives in the service of the Metropolitan. Then why did you put it next to water? You fucking idiots. Oh my god. Oh my god. Do they not know the elements? Get. I might try and build a new Scotland Yard. I think that's probably the best way forward. So it says upstairs, but when I was upstairs it didn't say downstairs. No, now it's just saying upstairs.
Hey, is that the same spider bot, Bagley?
Wait, what?
According to the serial numbers, this matches the piece of spider bot from the Tone bombing
Okay,
site.
fair enough.
Can
Let
you tell who
me get
owned
more
it?
ammo.
Navigate the
I put a
spider
few
bot round
ammos
that
in
room.
people's
I'll
heads.
need a direct connection
It's
in
good
order
to share your
learn
ammo.
more from our bisected friend.
And
Copy
people
that.
notice stuff going into their heads. Just have to keep going down this way, or... Oh, someone alive? Guess not. I'm not going the right way at all, am I? How'd you get in that room? Is it here? Maybe I just have to scan for it? Or maybe just... no?
That opening right there looks like a good exit point.
Where?
Right, get comfy. This spider bot might be broken and missing some of its legs, but it can still jump and fit through vents. That's a good way to get through the station undetected.
Come on, little buddy. Oh, look at his little gimpoid. Bless him. He reminds me of a younger spider version of me.
That's a part of the remote detonator system from Parliament. If the
Got any for
medical
perks or just a gun?
outreach actually analysed it, they would
Less
see it
arrest
wasn't
time as well.
sensitive
That's
at all.
it. I got the gun and slightly less arrest time, but that is it. Hey, and specific. Thank you very much for the raid there, dude. How are you doing, my man? How did games go? How was Hades? Oh. Vanessa's raid. Wait, that sounds way worse than it should do. Am I gonna go in there? Or am I gonna jump on it as it goes up? Maybe that's it. Yeah, boy. I mean, this is right. Yeah, okay, cool. I was meant to do that as well. Sweet. Okay. Oh, let's poor, oh, poor little bugger. But yeah, if a mod wouldn't mind doing !SO for seriously specific, please. He like strives to the left. No! Well, shit. Yeah, thanks for doing that, Iron dude. Just pure instinct, what, to fall over? My instinct just says I should be hitting the ground at all times. Did I not properly analyse that?
That's Dalton's mask.
Oh,
It must
okay.
be recovered
No, see, I came
from
back because I realised I
Might be the
hadn't
only thing left of
done
it
that
now.
enough. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just attentive to detail, you know. Alright. Don't fail this time, little spider shit. It's a long jump for his little spidey legs, though. There we go. Okay. Can he get up here? Alright, he can. Cool, cool. Makes cute little noises like he's
Look at all
hurt.
this junk. You'll have to jump your way across to get to the next vent opening.
I've been doing that already, bro. Been jumping my whole life, man. As a spider, not as a human. Had to quit the jumping game a long time ago, you know. The jumping game's a young man's sport. That's for sure. It's Mia Khalifa Wiz Khalifa's sister. Yes. Yes. Oh shit, wires. Could be space slugs. Let me know if you see space slugs. What's going on? Oh, I can't hack people with this little dude. Shame. I wanted to like scare them. Sometimes crime goes away. It might come back, but it does go away. Even crime has to sleep. They say crime never sleeps, but it fucking does. It just takes shifts, you know. I'm gonna make this. Got it. I'm gonna name this spider Bon Jovi because it should be long gone by now.
Almost there. Make your way through this last bent path.
Whoa. Papa! I have come to you again. Alright, sweet. Oh, I do have the damaged spiderbot leg. Can I fix it? Make it stronger than it was? Make it the bionic spider? I think that's where it's going, right? What are the odds of getting a quote from when you were playing the previous Watch Dogs? Oh yeah, shit! That was during the previous one as well. On the 7th of December 2017. Fuck me. That was a really long time ago. Oh shit, and this is for Raccoon. And that is called The Man Who Couldn't. He could not. He could not, no.
Acquired.
Oh, escape the area? I suppose I could do that.
Accessing its internal drives. While I'm analysing this data, you should make yourself scarce. Unless you'd like to explain to your new, heavily armed, privatised police force why you've broken into the station.
Yeah, alright.
I don't mind telling them. I have nothing to hide. Although I would like to... There we go. I'd rather not set alarms off if I don't have to.
The fragment you found had a satellite-based GPS module that regularly pushed its location to a specific ground station.
Never tell me the odds.
A secret location.
What is that from? I remember that for as a...
Pushing you
I
the
remember
ground
that being
station
something.
coordinates.
Alright, I'm going to assume it's down here towards Chelsea. It is down here towards Chelsea. Bastards. We got this. Maybe I should take a left? Little left, little forward, little right, little forward, little left, little left, little forward, little left, little left, little left, forward, 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 little right, forward, little left. We got it. Ah, we were doing so well. It's because I didn't have my boy, Michael J. Fox Teen Wolf, with me. Oh shit, look at this motherfucker. It's like a full-on adjudicator. Actually looks like more like the Destroyer. That's the Executioner. Hey, and we got a boat. Sweet. Okay, let's go. Oh, and the yeah, that was it. Star Wars, Han Solo, Star Wars. Yeah, good shout. We might as well just take a car, right? You need to back away. You can't see what I'm about to do. Oh no, you got your car, so you're totally going to see what I'm about to do. That car blew up.
A couple of things happened. One
Auto
was
drive now enabled.
the use of manipulative techniques around behavioral economics. Things that would just keep you scrolling or keep you listening.
Auto drive now disabled.
Looking for more information.
Okay.
The second is that
Let me put a timer on for it. Okay, let me put it. It usually goes quicker than I think as well. I think that all the times I did it without a timer, I was selling myself short. Just lubricate my throat quickly. Excuse me. Clearing it out. Oh, Stream Raiders. Let's do Stream Raiders whilst we sing and shit. We've got the battlefield where we'll kill these gits. It's the killing field. Da 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 da. Killing field. La 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 la. I will never sing that song willingly. Yeah, bitch. We got the big dudes. Now we got to get the tents. Because there is a lot of motherfuckers coming from these tents. What the fuck? It's like a train of sorts, but like people things. I don't know if they're people or not. We got this. He said, he said, he said, he said, he said, he said, GG, everybody had a win surprise yet? We're going down the bottom route, 'cause there's 1, 2, 3 chests, and they probably are the best, 'cause it gives you the loot if you compute. No rogue run. Get your troops in.
Environment favors
Hear me now.
and so you got more sensational headlines and more sensational stories, and it didn't matter whether they were true or not. It
Fuck
just
you,
kept
boss.
people in
You're a
and
piece of
kept
shit.
them. So we ended
Never
up in a
on
situation
time.
where nobody
You
trusted
never on
anything,
time.
and
Oh,
nobody
fuck
believed
me.
anything
Wee.
as a whole. And that is the perfect environment for an authoritarian voice to come in.
London
The
is
GPS
foggy
history of the Spider Mob Bureau account
tonight.
regularly pings these coordinates. Our mystery witness to the real bombers must have come to this lovely, damp location several times.
Yo, mama is
No
a
one
damp
will come here
location.
accidentally,
Okay.
that's for sure. A perfect place to plan
That was
a
2 minutes. My
terrorist
Bluetooth
attack.
is still attached.
Or to discreetly dump a
Now
body
it's
into
not.
the Thames.
Sweet. Okay.
So, how do we get
Thank you
in?
for that, Iron.
I'm
That was
detecting a
delightful.
surveillance network guarding a space under this bridge.
Just join the
If you
closed
can
circuit
tap
box will
into it, perhaps you can take a
unlock
look inside.
connected devices. Alright. Yeah, but doing that isn't the most subtle thing, is it? Like, I feel like people probably know we blew something up now. Hey, tech points. Okay, there's no one actually here, so that's fine.
Well, looks like a rogue cop set up shop down here.
Well, if Albion was stopping all over your workplace, you'd
Stop.
find a different place to store your
Drop.
lunch too.
Oh
And it
no,
seems our
open
mystery
up
officer was
shop.
dedicated.
I
Whoa.
wonder what led them to the total
Yeah.
bombing.
The computer's dusty enough to kill an asthmatic, but there may still be something useful
I'm an
on it.
asthmatic. And a fairly regular smoker. Huh. Probably shouldn't come down in this place. Played that funky audio file. Bagley man.
Inspector Caitlin Lau. Well, former inspector now. Since
Disgraced
Albion's coup,
former
Met
inspector.
is no more. The
Wait,
police
really?
brass had already buried
Fucking
the
A.
evidence anyway. Everything implicating Albion and Clan Kelly in the bombings. But I know
Emma Child now
Larry
heads
Kelly's band of
GCHQ,
crimes were involved,
counter-terrorism.
and
Abby
they're
makes
involved in
inroads
other
into
crimes we
London.
can
Targets
look into.
River. Tio,
And the
Nate,
few
Zoe.
good willing to
Not
go
Zoe, I
off book,
thought she was a
going
good
after
one.
Mary Kelly
Rude.
again.
Rude.
I'll
Zero
never
day.
take her
Just
in, will I?
rude. After bombing Rockatech? This is a shit live stream as well, by the way. Like, dude's not even at his desk for this live stream. What's it about? And why would you film yourself from the back? You know? How ugly is he that he has to have his cam film the back of his head?
Teamed up on some deal. I don't have all the details, but it looks to be human trafficking.
Details, not details. You know.
The European Processing Center is the Albion angle. Since the bombings, they can grab anyone off the street.
Oh, is it?
Call them illegal immigrants, potential DedSec insurgents, whatever.
I'm a DedSec
So we
insurgent.
know who the real danger is.
What?
So Clan Kelly gets hold of these people, these immigrants, deportees.
Clan Kelly ain't
victims,
shit,
really,
man.
and they're taking them somewhere. But where?
Grand
and
Station?
Why? It all comes back to the boss lady herself. I knew she was into something, but she wriggled off the hook.
She's been playing DBD.
There's
Kirby?
only one way I can do this. 24/7 surveillance on Mary Kelly. If I'm caught, well, this will be my last entry.
She got caught.
But I have to see what she's hiding.
Well, I hope you got to see because you got caught. You obviously did terrible.
So, our mystery
What's
officer
let me
was
get
Inspector
freezing.
Caitlin Lau. It sounds like Mary Kelly was her white whale, and her investigation led her to the bombings.
So Moby
So
Dick,
Albion
yo.
was working with Clan Kelly gangsters.
Get outta
I
here.
sound surprised.
It seems like 0 Days
That
Web
Carl knows
covers
they're not
all of
allowed
the
here.
unsavory bits of London. Tug on a thread, and it leads back to them. Clan
Oh,
Kelly
yeah.
and Albion included.
We need to do something about these kidnappings.
Inspector Lau mentioned Albion is running their part of the operation out of the EPC. Detectives like us call that a lead.
Fly, fly. Leave it out, mate. Murdered him. Oh, touched by an angel. Well, these people barrier things are not helpful now. Now it's like the opposite. This is going to make things way worse than what they were hoping for. Now it's just like a bowling lane. Why am I running? Okay. Please get that away from me. You need to stop. Go. Leave.
And if Caitlin
Leave.
Right, then this little nugget jumps to
I'll
the
take you
front
there.
of the queue. We have
Alright, hang on, let me see what she's saying. Sorry, Karen speaking.
Still
Sabine.
be alive, but missing inside the EPC.
Angel Lopez, not London.
Whoa! Where did this dude come from?
Angel got caught up in the immigration
Like he was on the wrong side of the road and everything.
Maybe the only reason he escaped 0 days DedSec purge.
Anti-immigrant sentiment has grown in London since the bombings. Albion fuels it. It allows them to send anyone they want to their brutal refugee camp.
We need to find Angel before they discover he's dead. This is kind of personal team.
Oh shit.
Might just shed
Oh
some
shit.
light on the Albion Clan Kelly connection.
Right. Well, if he's in the EPC, he won't be going anywhere anytime soon. But considering the state of that place, we should see what we can do.
I've sent the details.
I'm coming in as
to
secretly. They'll never see it come in.
EPC. They can get you inside.
Didn't mean to turn around, but
So people end up
how far away is it? It's literally right here. Okay, we'll carry on then.
a very biased and controlled idea of the reality and the
Oh yeah, this is actual. Wants me to go this way. So where we're going is an actual sports ground, but I think it might. Oh no, it might not be a sports ground. It might be the Globe. So yeah, where we're about to go to, I think it's either the Oval, but I think the Oval's a bit too far out for it to be included in this game, like geographically. So it's more than likely the Globe, which was like Shakespeare's like joint. You know what I'm saying? It was it's his Shakespeare's old horn. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, or is it though? Is this the Globe? This looks too big to be the Globe. It looks, see from the outside, this is what the Oval looks like from the outside. Because I've driven past it many a time, but like, I don't know, is it a cricket ground? Does anybody here enjoy cricket? Because I mean, I know I don't. But I feel like this might be the Oval. It's got like a sports badge over there actually, what's that saying? Oh, it does say Cricket Club, I think. Let me get closer.
So, I've delved more into Caitlin Lau's investigation, and an enormous number of missing person cases centre around the
Maybe it is the
EPC.
Oval then, but I thought the Oval was further out.
Onto something.
We better find
Yeah,
out
Cricket
what's
Club,
out
so I assume it is the Oval, unless there's another
Angel's
one in
with us.
London. I don't really know much about
Let's
cricket.
start
So.
squeezing him for intel.
We'll put a bloody cricket stadium and not a football stadium. Come on. Ah. Ah. Who's being loud? Shut up! Kids are playing. Alright. See, I do have like Albion soldiers and stuff as well that I could be to like sneak in here really easily, but alright. We can be cool, we can be cool, we can be cool. I thought he was an actual guard, so I was gonna cap him. Shit.
Got Bagley summons. I've already taken care of your entry. Get you in quick and quiet.
Off the record, yeah? I don't want any trace of me being here.
Oh, nice.
No worries.
That's
I'll
cool.
spoof.
Little
But come
shanty
meet me on
town.
the rooftop. The only place here that doesn't smell like piss. Got some info for
We'll
you.
do soon.
Processing centre. It processes deportees
Is this all
by
piss?
stacking them
That's a
up
lot
in
of
squalid
piss.
conditions and forgetting about them. But hey,
This is also probably the best use of a cricket ground, you know. Let people live here. I mean, why would you want to watch cricket? Hey, how you doing?
What is going on?
This place is worse than a prison camp.
What was it?
Every day I see people come through here, torn from their homes
Oh,
and
no.
their families.
Oh, shit.
I'd rather stay and keep an eye on things. Maybe help out once in a while. Like, no.
Look at this nightmare. Countless people fleeing war, crime, poverty. And here they are, none of them cared for or accounted for.
Yeah,
Maybe
when
we could make it
people
rain.
are
We should just walk around with...
records say
We don't
they're
have
processed,
dollar
but it
bills here,
doesn't
but I
add
could just
up.
walk around with pound
No one
coins and
ever properly leaves.
flick it at them.
And with the Kellys prowling around like fucking
Or drop like a
hyenas,
shitload
I
of
am
pound
not
coins over them by
optimistic
aeroplane.
about the people
Airplane.
slipping
I don't know why
through
guys
the
say
cracks.
aeroplane. It's
Clan
airplane.
Kelly, like the all-powerful
Fuck's an
firm
aeroplane?
controlling London,
Like a chocolate
Clan
thing.
Kelly.
True.
Chocolate plane would be pretty
Now,
cool,
about the
actually.
missing guy.
And it's bubbly, so maybe it would
Best
float a
place
bit
to
easier
start
once you
would
get it
be
up.
the EPC
But how are you going to
database.
launch it with chocolate
Keep a
thrusters?
record of
Chocolate
everyone
thrusters
that
don't
comes
work.
in. And be careful.
And they look grosser than you'd think.
Pushing the location of the EPC database on your optic.
Always pushing me, motherfucker. Oh, it is still in here, okay. Let me jump off this roof. I like how they start climbing down the ladder just to jump off it anyway. I need to get up there. Oh, shenanigans. Can I climb up these? Too big?
There will be a database here that we can search for evidence on Angel Lopez.
Up there, yeah. Can I hack that motherfucker? I don't think I can get close enough to it. Maybe here. I can get a spider bot down here, I guess. Or up here. As far as where this oh. This did say basement, but I guess cricket clubs just work weirdly. They knew no one's really going to turn up, so they can just say, "What? Yeah, this is a basement," but it's actually going upwards. Okay. Alright. And these away. Oh. Get to like mount it and shit.
Go on, Bagley. Tell me you found something.
I have. His file has been deleted from the main database,
There was
along
a
with
spider bot
hundreds
there.
of others. Still very detailed.
I probably
Even
could
when
have done that
committing
with
crimes
just
against humanity, the government doesn't skimp on paperwork.
I probably could have
Here
just
is a
done
recording
that with
labeled
the camera and the
Exit
bots.
Interview.
Oh shit. This is where I was trying to get out of.
You know what we do with terrorists, Lopez? Don't go pissing me off by denying anything. We know you're with DedSec.
Oh
Think you were
shit.
picked up on some random sweep? Not a fucking chance. Nothing to say. Well, this is not going to go well for you then, because I want
Oh, there's
information.
another beer while we're here.
The rest of your cell, where are they? I want names, places.
Waterboard myself.
You think I'm daft? I spill everything I know and what? You let me go? I'm not talking. I know how this ends.
Oh, I don't think you do. I'm going to throw you to the wolves.
Oh, I haven't seen any wolves in this game. That'd be cool to see. Watch wolves. In fact, I haven't seen any dogs in this game. Sleeping dogs didn't have anything. Is Watch Dogs also a lie?
You're too pretty for that, mate.
Oh shit, I think it might be, you know. I don't know if I remember seeing dogs in the second one either. Has Watch Dogs been lying to us the whole time under our noses?
Chop you up and send the pieces to the four corners.
I can take whatever you've got.
I almost feel sorry for you. Get him to the bloody clinic then.
Shit. They knew he was DedSec the whole time. This doesn't look good for Angel.
Doesn't look
The
bad though.
clinic keeps government service hours,
Yeah, fuck
which
it, I'm
means
leaving.
it's closed. We'll have to find Angel the old-fashioned way and hack their CTOS hub.
Private military cunts. Huh. But what about them? See ya. I have to go back in there now. Oh shit. I guess I'll just... The alarm's gone off already. It doesn't matter if it goes off double. God damn it.
Deportation limbo, horrible living conditions,
Wait, what?
unexplained disappearances.
Is that not the
It's almost as
way
if
in?
the media are deliberately ignoring the situation here in favour of, oh, look here, Beatrice Stokely, 89, recently took up kickboxing to fill up her days. Fascinating. If the EPC is a typical
my
example
days.
of how humans treat each other, I'd say a benevolent AI overlord is a step up, wouldn't you?
Oh, turn yourself off. That's an order.
Okay. No one can see me do this either. I was super sneaky. Not a single person was near me.
An AR scene of Angel's examination. You can view it inside the clinic.
Good work.
You know how long it took for people to believe in washing their hands?
What's in there? What? I need to get in there somehow.
And the doctor who proved it was literally thrown into the loony bin.
Over here, maybe. Get him away, nerds! Oh, shit. The door is closed. Don't tell me to calm down.
Fucking
Oi! That's unnecessary. There's nothing wrong with being a little different.
Not acting like myself. Of course, I'm myself. I've always been myself. Even in my most arrogant, nihilistic, narcissistic form, I am myself.
I can't really see. Is there a camera in there, actually? Am I just doing this freebasing it and I don't need to? Yep. Yep. Cool, okay. Groovy. Pick up this yoga mat. Oh no, it's not a yoga mat. That's like an air container. Right. So that was a gun. That was probably a human. Could be a mannequin. We don't really know at this point.
Procedures, Mr. Lopez. We'll have you out of here in a minute or two.
Wait, did he miss him? Did he shoot him from the back of the head and miss? How?
Fuck, what was that?
How'd you miss that shot?
Implant. We need more info.
What? Let me analyze this shit.
Facial analysis matches for both. They're part of Mary Kelly's little pack. So, Inspector Lau was right after all. Clank Kelly and Albion are in bed together.
Oi, oi.
What a shit orgy that would be. Microchips, coated with biocompatible glass to prevent
Let me
rejection.
breathe him in.
GPS tracker? Biometric scanner?
No, these are more sophisticated. If I had to guess,
That's how
I
he
would say they were
injected him.
designed
It
to
wasn't
deliver
actually a
dose
gun.
of some
That makes
unknown
sense.
compound. Not the kind of thing you find at your local corner shop. I could reconstruct the
Not yours,
path he
maybe.
took if you want to see how this cliffhanger gets resolved.
Why not?
Stay on him. He might have escaped.
It's pretty hefty smack. Oh. Let's see if he triggers him. Oh, did I run away?
Fuck! He's getting away! Get after him!
Shit, they're catching up on him. Come on, Angel.
Okay. I'm chasing the Tizer man at the moment. Oh, Tizer man got kicked in the face.
You're almost free, Angel. Almost.
Where'd you go? Where'd you go, Boo? Oh, down here. And you got brain fired. Oh, that's not cricket.
Not damaged, there'll be no waste.
Duh.
Demand's high with the new network.
Guess you're right. Let's tube him, get him in the van and out to the incinerator.
Incinerators are for fire.
Well, shit. I think we can confirm the microchip is more than a GPS tracker.
Hey, how you doing? Why am I talking to you? Am I recruiting you now? I didn't mean to do that.
I saw you poking around, and I think
You can...
I know who you're looking for.
Oh, shit!
Poor bastard collapsed right there.
I didn't mean to skip that. I didn't think that was actually mission. My bad. Okay. What was I? I don't know. Were you any good? No, you're terrible. Simply awful. Tizer doesn't have the man in mind. I don't think so, because it was like, yeah, it was like the bald red dude, right? I don't believe that they have that anymore. I mean, I don't even see Tizer that often anymore. I quite liked Tizer. It was alright, you know. But yeah, I don't even know the last time I saw Tizer on the shelves, you know. Probably the 2000s.
You suck!
Hey, Mojo Baby! How you doing today, geez? That's for you. I made that guy get off his bike. Now it goes. Look at it ride. And thank you for the host too, dude. Okay, let's get to the mission. How you doing today, Mojo Baby? Just remember something like a bottle pouring into a man's head? Yeah, I think that was it, yeah. Back in the day when like 7-Up had that little like surfer dude as well. What happened to like fizzy drinks characters? And Guan and nicely over here, my man. We're getting down to some serious action. Like, cause we've oh fuck me, that's awful. Don't run away, don't run away. I don't trust you. Yeah, I haven't done many missions, so we're just like steaming ahead with some of these today before we do some multiplayer. Yeah. Fido Dido, yeah, that was it. Oh fuck, I'm awful. Alright. Easy, all day. Fuck me, I meant to line up, I didn't mean to actually shoot him straight away. Do you reckon someone heard that?
Man, just listen. What? What's going on, mate? Oh my god. Oh my god. Bloody hell, man. You won't believe what
Bloody hell, bruv.
What? They're burning corpses. Human bodies.
Well, what else are you going to do with corpses? Put them on a Christmas tree, they're too big.
I've gone over the captured footage.
Crates of innards. Why would you package that shit
Then I
up?
ran out of cameras. Not a problem you often have in London.
That's our play then.
Huh. Might as well take you down the old-fashioned way.
That's all there is to it.
Someone else see me? He saw me. But it's right, he had a nap. Just a nice little nap. There we go. Information. Good reads, good reads. And oh shit, Mojo Baby coming in for the 37 months worth of subs now. God damn. That's nearly as high as I can count. Motherfuck.
Fantastic.
But thank you very much, Mojo Dude. You're an absolute legend, man. And pulling this thing is for you. Yeah, I know how you like to pull things. Yeah. But thank you, dude. I thought we were just going to send a spider bot down there. Huh. Human organ. Do you reckon, like, piano? Boop. Like to pull shenanigans, you know it. Huh. A hard-working employee. It's nice to see. Shame that their apron clips through their jacket. Oh, it's you! You haven't been murdered yet? When you lucky? You lucky, lucky girl. Right, she's a murderer now. Wow. That's uncool. Whoa! That's double murder. You literally, he gave you a bed. He gave you a bed and you killed him.
Come on out. I'm not gonna cut you.
Well, I could shoot you in the head. I'm really good.
Well,
oh, what? I am, but put the knife down.
Thanks for the distraction. Gave me the second I needed to take care of this filth.
You okay? That guy looked ready to seriously fuck your day up.
He was. I'm fine. I just need a second to catch my breath and find my
She still got her tag on though. That's crazy.
Wait, you're Caitlin Lau.
You'd thought I'd fallen off by now.
Caitlin Lau, the police inspector. We saw your videos. You must be raving mad to go after Mary Kelly on your own.
It wasn't always on my own. Who the hell are... You're dead sick, aren't you?
A little bit.
You tracked me to the slaughterhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly. We're tracking a friend who vanished from the EPC. The trail led here. It's horrible thinking that all those missing people ended up here, ended up like this.
Then I'm sorry. I don't think there's much hope for finding him alive.
He's going into like a sorting
The
type
Kellys
thing.
have
There was
got
an
a
organ
sick little
box.
operation
So
going. A
see,
kind
look,
of
loads of human organ boxes
human
for
organ
transplants
black
too.
market.
Yeah,
I've been
so.
investigating them for months, and they got my fucking files.
Oh no.
God, I feel like shit.
At least I don't have your liver.
You need some rest. Someone on the team will come and get you, bring you somewhere safe. I'll find Angel and your files, but I need to know what's on them.
Everything I've gathered on Mary Kelly. Promised not to take
Everything.
her down.
Well, shit. We should be working together anyway. After this, DedSec will need to dig a little deeper into Mary Kelly.
I really need some heating on soon. I'm getting freezing right here. Oh, Charles spent 258. God fucking damn you, Charles.
All
You
right,
best have bought a nice
on their way
jacket.
to escort Inspector Lau. So let's find Angel and Inspector Lau's files.
I'll wait for your guy in here.
You best do. The door's shut. I can't hear you.
Glad we're joining
Search for
There's no
Angel.
doubt about it. This whole operation is meant to harvest organs. Clan Kelly's chopping
I mean,
off the
it's
parts they want
assumative.
and burning the leftovers.
We don't know that. We're just we're heavily assuming. There's a good amount of
Mary
evidence,
Kelly has a lot
but
to answer for. Oh, fuck. Their faces are just mutilated. Bagley, could you run some kind of facial reconstruction? This is not good.
his face isn't
Take a
that
picture and I can
mutilated.
run key details past various databases.
Looks like he got stockings on him. Press 9 to access the camera wheel. You're telling me I could have done this before? That's annoying. That wasn't even the angle I took the picture at. His head wasn't even at an angle. Oh my god, he has no... He's not a person. What about this one?
People of Clan
Ooh.
Kelly put through this fucking horror show. We have to put an end to this operation. Mary Kelly's got
Say
to
cheese! That's, again, not the way the head was laying at all. Make him sexy. Hips and nips, baby. Oh shit, he's Spider-Man.
Unfortunately, I
Did you
must
see his suit?
confirm that this is indeed Angel Lopez.
Hey, we found him.
Angel. He knew the risks. I did too, but never thought DedSec would get caught up in this.
Alright.
Mary Kelly is preying on London's most vulnerable.
At least they're
She's
preying.
a fucking monster.
Gonna put my gun away.
Taking her out needs to be a DedSec priority.
Now we
Is
need
he
to
too far
find
gone to
Nathan
eat?
Lau's case files
My
on
dude
Mary
hasn't eaten
Kelly
in a while.
See if my conjecture may be correct.
Like
Could
ever.
Mary Kelly be in 0 Day?
Maybe. Maybe she's in leagues with Marie Curie. Wouldn't be the strangest thing, you know. Oh, hello. Ah, so difficult being a master assassin. Cool.
Well done. You got the files.
Yep.
The inspector will be impressed.
Best be.
Now get out of here before someone decides to turn you into mincemeat.
Luckily, the
Chop,
exit's
chop.
right here.
No kidding.
Now I should be safe to put away my gun. There we go. Stop talking. No one likes your story.
DedSec, Caitlin Lau here.
That was my penis.
Wanted to
Dimmy
tell
two, Dimmy two, Dimmy two, Dimmy two.
I'd be nothing but an anatomy lesson by now. Or a pile of ashes.
You'll be happy to know that Inspector Lau has been escorted to a nearby refuge and is getting her wounds treated.
I'll be
Auto
fine.
drive now enabled.
Still a little flight.
I don't know where it's
for whatever
auto
they
driving
gave
to.
me.
I've got nowhere
And
marked on the map.
frankly, a little stunned that we've joined forces.
But the feeling's mutual. But joining forces is the best way to stop Mary Kelly from doing this to anyone else. So here we are.
Exactly.
Oh.
You have an organization, I have information, and some backing from powerful people. Pool our resources, and we might just take her down. Mary Kelly's no petty criminal.
Bagley,
Auto
rally
drive
everyone
now
to the safe
disabled.
house. We need to go over these files and establish a plan.
I'll sync with Inspector Lau and prepare a briefing.
Okay, cool.
Our spicy subs 2-for-1 deal is big enough to torpedo any appetite. Offer only valid for Albion employees.
I would like to torpedo my appetite. Alright, let's go see these team briefs. Keep an eye on the time. We will move to some multiplayer fairly soon, I'd say. If people want to play some.
I've heard from Inspector Lau. We're ready for the briefing.
Good, that's why I'm coming down. Everybody. See, this is what he should look like on the street, but this dude never looks like him when I choose him. See, you look cool like this. I mean, you're a furry, but you got a shiny jacket. Waterboard, 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 waterboard. Thinking of playing potentially some like Shell Shock, maybe some Rocket League, maybe some Phasmophobia even. We've got the people to potentially do some Phasmophobia actually if Fat's still about. I know he's always down. Earthing, we playing Earthing, baby. Right, I'm gonna do a little save and we'll do stream rate just quick as well. I know. You've already told me. Impatient piece of shit. Right, so this time we're gonna make haste because then we can get the boxes quick and then fuck everything up. Let's do it. The name of Lucifer. Kill this dragon and its little skelly minions. Oh, look at that balloon buster going hardcore on it. Damn. I love how many rogues everybody always puts down on these maps. Oh shit, wow, they got dusted. Oh shit, wait, this doesn't look like it's going as well as I thought all of a sudden. The balloon buster did really good to the dragon, but the dragon fucked up loads of people there. Nice, we still got it. We still got it. Those little mushroom dudes were pretty neat. And the rewards go to Einan and the Mighty. Nice, nice. So, next round, we are going to go for this 2-skull giant melee. Says it's easy, but I reckon it's going to be the toughest battle we've ever known. They're already on our fucking field. What the hell? Leave it out. Alright, well, I'll put him here. Get your troops down, guys. Help save the world. Go back to Watch Dogs.
Mary Kelly heads up the most powerful crime family in London.
She literally looks like she's in EastEnders.
Under her old man, they were a bit player. Then he died, and her rivals started disappearing. Her enemies, her friends, her family.
Oh shit.
They call her Bloody Mary for a reason.
Because she likes to drink.
Early on, Mary abandoned cash in favor of cryptocurrency and brought the Kellys' criminal business online.
It makes weapons smuggling, drug running, money laundering all a lot easier without a cash trail. The woman single-handedly modernized organized crime in
Oh,
London.
well done for her.
She
Single-handedly
considers
doing
herself
anything
to
that
be
big is pretty impressive.
untouchable. Case in point, from my files you retrieved. Darla Covington, 19. Sasha Haddad, 28. Radek Stokovich, 24.
Everyone can say names and ages. Come on.
It's difficult to find good help these days, isn't it, love? Most people.
And
They
she
ain't
sounds like she's
driven.
from EastEnders.
Not like you. Because they feel worthless, don't they? The way that the world is, how it uses people. It's horrible.
Is it?
It's nice that you have a purpose.
She sounds like the landlady from Space.
We aren't finished here. This
Okay.
was a courtesy.
That girl's the devil. Hello, Brian.
Give my regards to their families. It's horrible losing someone you love. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too. Hope you never leave. Never leave. Never leave. I fucking love Space so much.
As you can see, she'll never.
I don't care like how old I've got, how many times I've watched it, it's still such a fucking good show.
She feels comfortable talking. The Sandstone residence.
Inspector Lau thinks a
Maybe
police
she's the
bug in
reason I
Kelly's
smoke.
headquarters
Yeah.
may have the evidence she needs to finally convict Bloody
Skip to the
Mary.
end.
Sandstone is the center of operations.
Also, like,
No,
the amount of times I've wanted to bust that out in real life. Like, just it's somebody telling you something like that you just... It might even be important, but you just want... You sit there and in your head just... You just got Simon Pegg and skip to the end. And that's why I'm here, trying to rent a flat.
Sabine here, Inspector Lau. I'm curious how you think you can bring Mary Kelly to justice now, with no backing. Even before Albion took over policing,
How's
you
your
couldn't
backing?
lock her up.
Been good?
And she goes on treating humans like cattle.
I had to work within
Who the
the
fuck are you?
system. Yes, it was corrupt. I knew it. I just
Oh, you're the
didn't know
you're
how
the
bad it
anarchist.
was.
Okay, right. Okay.
I thought a strong enough case couldn't be buried.
I don't even know half these people on my team. We never go out for drinks or anything. This is a dancer. She dances for money.
Because
It's
I'm
pretty
taking
good.
it to a contact in the Attorney General's office.
She's a construction
an
worker.
honest
She doesn't
solicitor
really
with a
build
hard
much
on
though.
for
Look at this place.
organised
It's a
crime,
shithole.
Specifically for Mary Kelly.
What's she do?
Look, Our methods
Oh yeah,
may
she
differ,
like paintball
but I want
shit.
to help
She's a
those
street
people as
artist.
much as you do.
She's gonna be the new Banksy.
Alright.
And again, this
But
guy we've
however
already
this goes
met.
down,
This
there's
is
no
Gregor
way we're letting
Pumpkin,
Mary slip
the
yet again.
harmonica player.
That's
We got
not
him.
how
We got him.
DedSec does things. Let's get to Sandstone.
You like the Resident Evil episode the best, where he's gone wrong? Yeah, not as well, just because that episode, it's got David Walliams doing like the art piece and shit. It's so good. I can't remember any of the shit he says. But yeah, it's such a good episode. I think it's a toss-up between... It's a toss-up between that episode for me and that other episode where they...
Good to decompress.
That one is also good. That has a lot of good lines in it as well.
Got a potential recruit for you. I'll mark
Get in a
them on your
tube, have a
map.
fatty one back anyway, get absolutely munted. Go back to the pub, have some tequila shooters. Vulva, yeah, I think it was Vulva, yeah, they called him Vulva. I like Jessica Stevenson's thing at the end as well. Rabbit, 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 rabbit. It's the good shit. Yeah. Oh, that bit as well. Yeah, that's not weed. That's oregano. How would you know? I'm a catering student, innit? It's so good. It's so good. I knew so many like rude boys that were catering students as well. I have no idea why, but it just it hit me so funnily when I heard that. I can be conceptual. Wow, you all saw that. You all saw that. You all saw that. I'm suing. What do you mean you're not going to let your blood boil over this situation? Fucking fitness instructors. What do you want? Back it up. Back it up. Back it up. I need some space to think right now. Yeah, back it up a bit more. Bit more. Bit more. That'll do. That'll do. I need a car. Oh no, fraud. Stop. No, 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 not that much stopping. Not that much stopping. Fine, I'll take this. Oh shit. We're nearly there anyway. No, stop trying to change my car my angle.
This is London calling. You're listening.
Oh, can I not go through that door? My bad. Look after my car, please. I'll give you a tip on the way out. Here's a picture of my penis. Ah, god damn it. These people are always shaming my penises. That's what's disgusting, if you ask me.
Security here is state of the art. Quite impenetrable. Unless, of course, you flew a drone through the window one of Mary's mouth breathers left open.
Okay. I'm just going to try and lob it. Can I drive this whilst I'm on it? Is that a thing? Oh, yep. Oh, that's backwards, though. It was... Someone parked it facing... Oh, this is daunting. Right, so I just got to try and Kobe through that window. And by that, I mean the original sense, not like... an explosion. Okay. Lamar Odom. Oh yeah. Sweet. Now I can get some crack.
The recording device is in her security room.
What the fuck just happened there?
Getting there should be a simple matter of navigating the
Where'd he go?
vents.
Where'd he go?
Fuck.
She's using these people as house servants against their will.
I can't see
Horrible
this.
in itself, but a million times worse knowing they end up as unwilling organ donors.
Let me have my spider. What the hell? What the hell? Where'd my spider go? Did my spider get like instantly baited or something? Like, why don't I have it? Do some sweet drifts. That's not a bad shout. I'm gonna drift open this bag of pretzels quick as well. That's a pretty sweet drift. Cut the corner a bit though. I corrected it. Beautiful drift. Beautiful drift. Would like another spider, please. Only in game. Okay. Right, now we're cooking. Last time it looked like I fell, like just straight. This fell like loads.
Way in front of the missus, and you're on the chopping block.
I don't know what you want. I just want to go home.
Don't be chops. It's a nice home. They say curious, but then they don't do anything, you know. You best be fake. We'll take a wide berth. You never know. Plus, a tight berth sounds a lot more uncomfortable. No, not that way. This way. Get him. How can I activate this one? There we go. Get him. Get him.
That's it. Let's see what kind of recording we've got on her.
Hey, a new mask. Nice. I got hack shit first? Oh, that's bullshit.
Just look at this place. This is what comes of old crooked money.
Oh, shit.
The Kelly family has been profiting from people's misery for a long time. She's got this shit all over the manor.
So you've been in there before? Is that how you ended up in the basement of the Southwark incinerator?
We needed something incriminating, so we decided someone had to get in here and plant a bug. I wasn't going to assign someone else to do that. You saw how Mary uses the people she grabs out of the EPC.
Shit.
And the staff's uniform's not hard to mimic, so I went in. What I didn't know was that she had intel.
Oh wait, she's so far. I forgot I was that far away. Shit. And zoom all the way back.
Stop the leaks, but she still knew we were coming. She tortured me for the names of my team. Tried to break me, but cops don't give up cops. Turned out she already knew the whole unit and put hits out on them.
Oh, man, this is there's a lot of shit here.
The woman is a mind fucker.
Mind fucker,
At least
hey?
you weren't microchipped. You don't seem like the type to comply with the Kellys.
That's how I ended up on that butcher's table. So many reasons to want to rid the world of her, but it wouldn't be enough to just put one in her brain. My mates died trying to bring her to justice. I have to honor that.
Huh. How do I get that one down there? Like this. Magic. This is a pretty big one as well, man. We haven't had one like this before. Huh. Okay, he's looking good. Is that right now? Because how do I get back up in there now? Through here. Oh shit. I'm trying. What is going on? Here we go.
Yeah.
Look at the state of you.
She's got jam all over her.
Done to yourself after everything I've done for you.
You made me a slave.
I don't think it's her blood.
Please. Let me go. Take this thing out.
Back to your old life. Back to nothing. Back to your 2.5 screaming blighters in your dead-end job and sucking off the dole. You don't want that, love. This
Seems better than being covered in
is
jam.
scary, I know, but I got to keep tracks on my merchandise, don't I? And this kitchen knife, that won't do it, love. Cutting yourself affects my bottom line.
You mug. I can't live like this anymore.
No.
Maybe she just needs a new hat.
You're all right there.
Lots of people like
All right,
cats.
sweetheart, because I have another use for you.
Oh yeah? Seems like a weird use.
Ooh, paying attention, are we?
Uh-oh.
Gotta be sure and spread the word. You know where
Cotton,
the job goes.
Dot Cotton's on a rampage.
all the
Hey,
others
Carl,
over to the
baby.
venue and ready for the
Hey,
sale.
dude.
Right away, Mom. Also, the foreign investors have already landed and the drones are programmed, ready to deliver the invitations and the coordinates to all the guests.
We're having a party.
Is that initiative
No,
I'm
no, no.
smelling, Peter? Initiative can be a dangerous thing. Can be misinterpreted.
Hmm. I think he wanted to keep his testicles. I would like to too. And how you doing, Cat King? Playing Watch Dogs now is all about looking cats. Well, so far Watch Dogs has been a lie. I haven't seen any dogs.
Perhaps a disease
I haven't been
one,
able to
but
watch
definitely
any.
an ingenious one.
But I don't think I've seen any cats either. So what are they really trying to achieve?
Her affiliations aren't
I
my
really don't know.
priority, Bagley. She's keeping
How you
these
doing?
people
Welcome.
enslaved, and it sounds as if she's selling them. This is huge.
Back it
That's a
up.
very handy microchip.
Back
Stay
it
in
up.
line or else. Zap your organ
Back
meat
it
on the
up.
black market.
DedSec, we'll have to
Back it up.
crash that slave auction.
Back
Get
it
all the
up.
information we can out of there.
Alright, let's
The
do some
location
drifts.
will be on the invitations. She hasn't sent out the invitation yet, but when she does...
Nope, wrong way.
Bagley, monitor the drone networks.
Drift.
Give us a heads up when Mary sends out her fleet. Until then, I reckon we're in a holding pattern.
What am I touching?
touch if I
Uh-oh.
can see anything else.
Uh-oh, drone hit me. I got a drone on me. We got a drone issue, guys. Hey, I got a new mask. Drone, will you fuck off? Oh, if I back up, it's a bit easier. Alright, sweet. Oh, shit. Broke another drone. Yeah, so I remember driving around like this a good amount in Watch Dogs 2, but we didn't kill anybody. Oh.
Since we're waiting for our cordial
Sorry.
invitation to Mary Kelly's tasteless theme party, we can...
How you doing there, Jonathan, dude? I don't speak any other language than English because I'm ignorant. But if you could speak English, that'd be great. How you doing? Welcome.
Today, the great AI detective has 2 leads for his dog's body politic. Obviously, Albion needs looking into, but I also have a more unusual thread for you to pull on. There's a new hacktivist group on the dark web scene called the 404. But instead of
I tried looking for the 404 before,
to
but
be in it for the brutal reshaping of society by any means.
things were translation back.
Anyone you know.
Sounds like we have some options.
I've marked
Oh,
both
shit.
on your optic.
Why did I just like a weird explosion? Oh my god, if that was a swimming pool, we could get a great dive from up here. Could you stop crashing into me? What the hell? We need to put some lanes up. Oh, back it up. I've still got it underneath me. Look. Let me go. How's this physics? Tempting to disrupt? What are you on about? Oh, no. It's time. You're Fizzle. You're Lamo Kyle. That's a weird pronunciation of llama.
Drop in a pin on your map.
Entertainer found, Steelers Plumber. Oh. Wow. Okay, so they actually suggest recruits as well. That's pretty cool. Expires in an hour. So you only get it for a short amount of time. Right. Okay, well, we're going to do that quick because time. Yes, everybody. No. Alright. Oh. That was on a door. It's just a door. And no worries, Jonathan. It's lovely to have you, dude. And welcome. How are you? I did used to study French, but it's completely gone out my head. I didn't mean to pull my gun out. I don't know any language. I barely know English. You know this.
Obviously, God had retired. We think the similarities, omnipresent,
Excuse me.
omniscient, judgmental, stripping away
Okay.
finances and freedoms, dishing out random punishments, peas in a pot.
Let's go get this nerd.
Ban me from eating something. What's it gonna be?
Sorry. Ooh, that was close. That's how determined I am to get you. No, don't run away. Jog on. What are you saying? Susan, chin.
Well, she's in a mood.
Perhaps she has something bigger to worry about than us. Albion's hot on her trail. GPS history shows
Why
a
would I
pattern of
want her,
raids on
though?
locations she's recently visited.
All right, I'll bite. Could be the start of something good.
Got it. I've tracked down an officer who was at the most recent raid. You can scrape their optic for intel.
It's because I'm not a little under the M25. Wow. Wow. I don't really want her. She's not very good.
Oh, never mind. Trust by the machinery of the state again. Still good. But lots of positives to take away from today's
Auto
world.
drive
Come
now.
back.
Fudu fa fa. Fudu fa 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 fa. Fudu fa fa. Aye aye. Okay. We might as well recruit them just to see if it does anything to push anything further. And I haven't made too much. Well, I've done a lot of the side stuff. So I've like recruited. Oh, look at this dude. Miles from, or known as Tails from Sonic. His life went downhill, man. He got into crack. Got into really obsessed with Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, I've basically done quite a bit. Like I've done all the borough side mission stuff. So all the boroughs are like liberated. Shooting coach, okay. But I haven't gone too far onto the mission. So we've got to a point now where we've just found Mary Kelly. So we've just had our first like proper interactions with her on screen, and then now we have to like wait around, I think, until like the next one or some shit. Yeah, that's the one, Kyle. Yeah. Excuse me. Thank you. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Nina Simone really like. She really lost her voice as time's gone on, right? Sounds like a man, if I'm being honest. Ah. This isn't the best jacket swimming. They're pretty heavy.
I'm here.
That brilliant Albion goon left their optic on passive listening mode. Must have skipped counter-surveillance day in fascist school.
Silly
They
bitch.
might have recorded something about our prospect.
Excuse me.
Get to work then.
Boop. Boop. I should be allowed to shoot those. That's bullshit.
Search the area.
I can just turn it off, I guess. Less bullshit. Hey, Tyler, how you doing there? Can we see my recruit? Well, like, what he looks like now? I can't take the mask off right now, but I can show you my actual like list of recruits. So I've got a bunch of people going to just cycle this way. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, I got a bunch of peoples. The one I'm using now is probably my favourite. She's like my backup. Got a dude with the busby. And some recruits are sitting there looking there. Yeah. That's the man, them, yo. Yeah. They're my people. They're my people. And they'd go to hell for me. Oh, Hackney. Call it in, I didn't do anything.
Found him.
Oh, you didn't die? Motherfucker. Actually, am I standing too near that? Did he just involuntarily dab? Involuntarily? Just need to download the stuff, don't I? thinking too much about it. Just getting a download. Whatever side your people are fighting against. You're on Albion's side then. You're on 5-0 side. You're the fuzz, the filth.
Well done.
Roses.
Now get out of there so we can take a look at what you've got.
Oh, well, no, stop it. 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 Wow, I got away there. That's crazy. How did I not die? Not over yet, but... Oh, damn. Why am I still playing if you already won? Quid pro crash, eh? I'll never stop.
Just as I thought. Take a listen to this.
You find the drugs cache?
It was right where you said. Aren't we lucky?
Told you not to worry.
Get 'em.
We've got that acid over a barrel. The goods will always be
Get
where
'em.
they need to be.
Is that what passes for coded language
Get 'em.
with these
Get
thick
'em.
twats? Anyway, it looks like the woman we're after isn't being hunted by Albion after all. She's planting evidence for them.
We should chat with her.
Ooh.
Arrange a meeting, Bagley.
That's why I wear this coat. Extra shiny, which means it's extra slippery. Get past buses easier when they hit you.
Right, let's spread out and look.
This one won't hit me. Ooh, close though.
They were skipped. We need to regroup.
Get 'em. Oh yeah, let's go see Susan. Go to Waterloo.
We don't want a police hate. Of course.
That's it. Thank you.
That's been hacked. Urgent.
Have a nice day now.
Hostile at your location. Target just drove into an officer. Over.
We are in pursuit. I say again.
Do y'all see that?
Any other patrols have eyes on the suspect? Over.
Stronger. Next time, our luck's gonna turn. I can feel it. It's our season. It's our season.
You can't spell right.
Even by myself, I have a tough time saying who drove into that officer. Right? That was that wasn't my fault necessarily. Yeah, I was stealing a police officer's car on here. I'll fully admit that side of it. But in regard to the actual almost slam dunk on them, I don't think that was my fault. And I'm glad that they've dropped those charges now. Otherwise, I'd have taken them to court and it would not have been fun for them. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, what do you want?
You're planting evidence for Albion. Explain. Now.
If Albion didn't have some serious blackmail on me, I wouldn't be. I either do what they say, or I get fucked.
What if I told you
Sounds
that
good.
bird could disappear?
If you have a death wish and want to break into Albion and wipe their servers, sure. You do that, and I'll owe you. But don't take offense if I'm not holding out for you.
She's holding out for me. Again, I don't think I actually want her. I'm only getting her because the story kind of was like,
She may be
do this.
sympathetic to our cause, yeah?
Albion stores sensitive data like this on air-gapped servers,
Whee!
so zeroing those hard
Hey guys,
drives will
how you
solve
doing?
that problem and put an end to this whole.
Do you want to see something really cool? I can murder.
Agreed. Drop the location on my map.
I did wrong. I didn't do my murder button. I did my car button. Sorry, guys. Guys, why you ran away?
Oh no!
I thought we were making friends. Okay. Let's go to Woolworths. Once we've done this, we will go to a little break, and then we will be changing over to some multiplayer games. We might see what the most popular one is that people want. Get my way.
Terrible advice. Keep it as.
This should be where Albion is keeping the black.
Oh, that's actually where I wanna be, yeah.
Evidence planting friend.
Hey, I've got an idea actually. This way, it's not me setting off the alarm. That's not your car. Oh wait, no, maybe it was because I did steal it. You shouldn't have got back into this car, my friend. I don't know why you choose to get into this. Go on, die. And thank you for the clip of that weirdness, dude. And what multiplayer? So thinking maybe like either between like maybe Shell Shock, Rocket League, Phasmophobia, or whatever. If people are fancying something, feel free to just mention, I guess.
Careful now, these drones aren't cheap.
It is. Didn't even know she was there. Dooba-doop, dooba-doop, being stealthy is so easy. Dooba-doop, dooba-doop. I'm over here, I'm over here. Where are you going? Hey! Look at me when I'm shooting you. Oh shit, can I hack that? No, I thought I could. I thought I had a thing. Ow, 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 ow! Oh, Stream Raiders battle is ready. We'll do that in just a moment. Oh, god damn it. I was hoping this door would open. Ah, we got this. Titties. Oh, maybe Sonic as well. Actually, yeah, that's a good shout. Okay, right. Gonna have a smoke soon. See what we do about that. Okay, sounds good.
They're sending some goons your way.
Not goons. Uh oh. How am I out of range now? My machine's still there, and that's the main thing, right? Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay, well fuck it. I think I killed him by testicles. What are you doing? Giant arm needs to move so I can shoot. I just keep sending more and more people, hey. Need a better gun. Could you guys stop sending people? I need to deal with that turret. It's very much dealing with me at the moment. Okay. Completely safe now. Stop coming into my room! I'm trying to achieve stuff here. This should be a simple one. This is going messy. What are you doing up there? Oh, it's all going grey. There we go. Fucking hell. Uh-oh. Welcome to the No Bullet crew. I have to use electric shocks now. This is not great. Okay, I'll stop. Ceasefire? We all agreeing to that though, or is it just me? It feels like they asked me to stop, but they had no intention of doing it themselves, which is actually quite rude. Ceasefire's over. The treaty's ended. Problem is they're shooting with real bullets, and I have no real bullets. Oh, there's bullets over there. On that human. Oh, I've actually got some now again. Alright, sweet. Game on!
Erase complete. I'll get our friend on the line while you get to safety.
Safety is not a word that... Oh, you son of a bitch. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, son of a bitch. I'm going the completely wrong way as well. Oh my god, they just disappeared. Ghost in the titties. Oh dear. Oh hey. Oh, just sound the klaxons. It usually means they're unhappy about something. Where's that snitch? Fucking snitch. Do you think climbing higher and then jumping down is going to be a better option for me right now? That's what I'm... Whoa, hello! I'm a hostile target, am I? Fucking hell. That could kill me. This bit looks safe. I just escaped. Oh, and I got through that traffic nicely. You fuck off.
Seems like Albion had very clear CCTV footage of our prospect sticking up a betting shop. Emphasis on had because it's gone now. They'll have to find
I'm
someone
gonna
else
make the night dark in... Oh, London, maybe not. Wow, they're usually crumpled anyway.
News. DedSec here. Albion has nothing on you anymore. You're in the clear.
So you saw it then. I won't apologise for the shit I had to do at a bad point in my life. But I do
Should do.
The strength in numbers.
Let's see how strong this bus is.
You should join DedSec.
I couldn't get to the bus, I did the one behind it apparently.
I don't think 98% of Londoners have ever in the history of London ever agreed on anything.
Okay, we'll see what she's saying. And then we'll save it and we'll go to a giveaway.
Another brave soul for our ranks. Welcome aboard.
Hell yes! I'm ready to get my hands dirty with you lot.
Excellent.
Excellent. I hadn't even started controlling that yet. Yeah, please leave. Please leave. Please leave. Hey, that taxi's out of control, mate. That's like... It's like mental taxi or something. They should make a game about it. Go see what's happening, ambulance. Go see. Go see what's happening, titties. Go see. Empty titties, go see. Bus is getting a beating. Okay, let's do save.